Hi, Junior with my thoughts for today. And first, congratulations and thank you to those of you who watched all of yesterday's vlog, because yesterday, well, that was a long one, the longest one I've ever done. Now, other people have done longer ones, but for me, that was a long one. I think about 42 minutes total, but part of that was a special bonus video at the end, which I can now reveal. I hope you watched it, but it was Donald Trump. In I believe the 1980s, I think 35 years ago, a young Donald Trump talking about whether he would ever run for president, but most of all talking about trade deficits and being ripped off and all. That's his favorite phrase, being other countries ripping us off, if you think it's anything new. So you might want to go back and watch that one. If you didn't watch it, just scroll, to near the end if you don't want to watch the whole thing. Anyways, today I'm going to try to keep it short because yesterday was long, and I think I'm going to succeed. And also, I'm going to give you, especially you younger people out there, some very good investment advice that you might want to listen to. I'll get to that very shortly. But first of all, the Democrats, they just they can't give up the class warfare, and it causes them to say really stupid things. And I'm going to let's go right to the stupid thing. This is Hakeem Jeffries. If you don't know who he is the minority leader of the Democrats in the House of Representatives. Here's Hakeem.
The Trump tariffs, which are a tax on the American people, are so reckless, so unstrategic, so lacking in any sophistication, that the only conclusion that one can draw is that Donald Trump and Republicans are intentionally tanking the economy. Is it because, as Donald Trump has indicated, that during tough economic times, the rich get richer? And it's a buying opportunity? Those are Trump's words. Can you confirm?
My reaction to what you just saw is, well, where does one start? I mean, what he just said was so ignorant. Well, first of all, this idea of creating a buying opportunity for billionaires. I have some news for Mr. Jeffries, for Representative Jeffries. The value of the stock market since Trump announced these tariffs that he was going to apply, the value has gone down over $6 trillion in 2 days. Now, the market is coming up today. Actually, the S&P, forgive me while I turn my head, look at my screen, 115. It's up 115 points now. So hopefully what happened happened yesterday was the bottom. Let's hope. But anyways, $6 trillion, that nobody wants to lose money. I mean, some people have lost. If you know who Dave Portnoy is, I hope you do. He's Barstool Sports. He lost $7 million. He's not a billionaire by any means, but I think Elon Musk lost $14 billion in just a couple of days. But that depends. You got to be careful how you use that word lost. They lost if they sold. If they didn't sell, then they just got to hold on. They really haven't lost anything. And that's my first, I guess I'll have more than one pieces of investment advice. So that's number one. When you see these crashes like this, don't panic, because the market comes back, especially when there's no reason for it. And what I mean by no reason, I mean, obviously the reason was because Trump announced these tariffs. We'll call it the trigger. But there's nothing wrong with the companies. The companies are good businesses, and their value is there. And basically, you do create a buying opportunity if you can afford. You should always put a little money into the market. That's what I'll be getting into. What they call dollar cost averaging every month. That's what I did when I was younger, through my whole working life, just a little bit every month. But you have to have a little bit of cash from your earnings, or if you just invest in the stock market, it's difficult, but you want to keep some cash. Don't invest everything, because you want to have some cash in case, well, number one, an emergency, but number two, for opportunities like this, when the market suddenly drops. I could have kicked myself. I was so poor in 2008 when we had the mortgage-backed security crisis. The market went down, and God, I wanted to buy stock so badly, but I had no cash. I was so poor at the time. But the point I'm getting to is this idea that only billionaires, I'm not a billionaire, okay, and I just told you I put a little bit every month, this idea that only billionaires are buying stocks. And it's just that is just insane. I mean, if you're working anywhere, I mean, if you work in more investment advice, if you are an employee somewhere and you have a 401k plan, definitely take it, because as I recall, you would put part of your salary into this 401k plan every month. I think I was allowed to invest up to 50% of my salary, which I did, and which is one of the reasons I was poor, but it paid off when I got older. But you have matching from your employer. They put money into that account too, and especially if you're young, it doesn't seem like much, but just a little bit a month, it really grows over time. Trust me on this. And Hakeem Jeffries doesn't understand that. He thinks that the stock market is only for millionaires and billionaires, and none of us that when the stock market, when Democrats or anybody, Republicans too, if the economy goes down, we all suffer. It's not just billionaires. But here's my piece of investment advice for all of you out there, especially if you're young, because I don't know if everybody knows about this, but there's been a big change. First of all, when I was younger, I had, in first investing, you didn't have discount stockbrokers. I had to pay, if I wanted to buy 100 shares of something, I had to pay, I don't know, $50 commission to the broker to buy it. So I had to go up $50 just to, break even. So that's number one. Now these days you have these firms like Fidelity and I think Schwab and others. They have what they call commissionless trading, so you pay no commission. So obviously they're making money somehow, but still the point is it's very low, nothing close to what I had to pay to buy stocks. That's number one. But number two, another thing they did was went to a decimal system. Now, when I was younger, it was something would be $20, stock would be, $20 a share, and then, or $20, if it went up, it would be $20 and an eighth, $20 and a quarter, or a half, or 3/4. It moved in quarter increments. Now we went to a decimal system, so now it's by the penny. So it goes up. The point is, if you want to buy something, it's $20 a share, whatever, and you put your order in, a market order or whatever, then you've got a big gap there of an eighth, 12 cents a share, 12.5 cents a share. So now it's much smaller. So that's another advantage that you have today that I did not have when I was younger. But the last one, and this is the biggest one, that is they now have fractional shares. I don't know if everybody has heard of that. Fractional shares. And this is what is so great if you don't have a lot of money, or if you're poor, if you want to buy a stock that, I'll use a very extreme example. I don't know last time I checked, but Berkshire Hathaway. Now, Berkshire Hathaway, they have the A shares and the B shares. Now, the A shares were it never split. That was the whole thing. I mean, Berkshire Hathaway started, Warren Buffett started it in the early 60s, and you could have bought a share for $10 or something. Last time I checked, it was like $800,000 a share. Now, they put out to allow people to invest, they put out the B shares where Buffett did, out of the goodness of his heart, where it was cheaper, was a fraction of the A shares. So, but even those are something like $200 a share, maybe even more, went up. Well, let's use Google, okay, because Google or Amazon, okay, we'll just say $1,000 a share. So if you wanted to buy just one share of Amazon, you had to, it's $1,000 just for one share, and you say, well, I don't have $1,000, or you'd have to save up all year if you're like I was when I was poor, to save up to buy 1,000 shares. But now they have fractional shares where you can buy dollar amounts, and that's the main point. So if there's a stock that, let's say it's $1,000 a share, you can go to your Fidelity or your Schwab or whatever. I don't want to recommend anybody in particular. Schwab, I don't know if they do this, or Ameritrade. You can check them all. I imagine they do. I'm with Fidelity. I know they do it. But you could say if it's $1,000 a share, it doesn't matter the share price anymore, because you can tell these discount brokers, buy me $100 worth of Google, or buy me $10 worth of Google, buy me $1 worth of Google. So you have no excuse, especially if you're young, because you have your whole you have 40 years for these things to build up. And that's my advice. That is my investment advice. That put something away every month, even if it's only a little bit, because even if you have, let's say, $10 a month, you can buy $10 worth of any stock. I mentioned Berkshire Hathaway. They have the B share, so it doesn't make any sense. But if they didn't, and it's $800,000 a share, you could say, well, buy me $10 worth of that, and you could, and that is my advice. But ending now on Hakeem Jeffries, this class warfare of always talking about billionaires as if billionaires they're living on a cloud, some magic emerald city on a cloud, doing something that affects only them and doesn't affect the rest of us, and that is not true. I just showed you, if you only have $1 a month to invest, you don't lose as much as a billionaire does, but maybe relative to your income, it makes a difference if you lose $100. But over time, trust me, looking at me, I'm not a kid anymore, it grows and grows and grows. You would be surprised how much it grows. I mean, you will be surprised. I guess I'll end on Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein was asked once, what is the most powerful, he was a physicist, right? Genius physicist. And he was asked, what is the most powerful mathematical equation ever, and they expected him to say, obviously, E equals MC squared, where, a grain of sand can destroy a city. That's how much energy is in matter, so that they expected him to say that. But you know what he said? He said the most powerful equation is the equation for compound interest. And that's what we're talking about here. That's just a bank. If you just put your money in a bank and buy CDs, compound interest, it adds up over time. But stocks over time, especially American stocks, they go up, and they go up more than a bank account or more than a treasury bill or something, and they just go up and up and up. And it doesn't seem like much when you're young if you earn, let's say, just 5% on $100 or something, but you keep putting money in and it compounds and it turns into a lot of money when you're older, more than you would expect. And it is just it just pains me to see this class warfare. I had another point and I can't remember what it was, but that's what Einstein said, and I can tell you from personal experience that he is right. So sock away some money. It's called dollar averaging, okay, where you put a certain amount. I'll end on this. You put, let's say, that's what I did when I was young, and you put, I don't know, $50, $100, whatever a month, but you put that in every month. So you're putting it in all this time that the market is going up and up and up, and you're putting it in, and then the market crashes or goes down, but then you're putting in that same amount and you're buying at a lower price. So you see, it evens out over time. And I guess that's all I'm really saying is ignore these Democrats. Well, don't ignore them. I mean, you want to vote against them because that kind of mindset that Hakeem Jeffries says that they want to tax and attack billion. I mean, if being a billionaire is so bad, then I don't know. A lot of people want to be billionaires, and I'm one of those people. I would love to be a billionaire, and if there's something bad about being a billionaire, I don't know. Someone's got to tell me what it is, because I can't figure it out. And some of you who don't want to be wealthy, you can tell me. That's what the comments section is for. So your comments are all, I'm going to end now. Comments always welcome in the comments section below the video. Share this video with anyone you think would benefit from it. But most of all, come back and to see me again. And I would love to see all of you again. I would love to see all of you again. Vote against people who are like Hakeem Jeffries that want to punish the wealthy people because it hits you too. And I want to see all of you be happy and have happy lives and be able to support yourself and not be like these people I read about that if they have a $500 emergency that they can't pay for it. And I can tell you, I just got hit with I won't bore you the details. I got hit with a $1,500 emergency on my car and probably a $2,000 emergency in my house, and I would be up the creek if I didn't have any savings. So that's it. Talked enough. Thanks for stopping by. Yada yada. I just went through the whole routine. Look forward to see you again, and bye.